Welcome to Legal View with your host, award-winning attorney, best in employment law, featured on CNN Money, consistently ranked as a top 10 tier employment attorney by Expertise Connections, a human resources consultant, expert, and advocate. Informational, inspirational, and entertaining. One of the most talked about and progressive shows on social media. Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart.
Welcome to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart. We are excited today because we have a very talented young lady in the studio with us, and she is running for a judicial office, and we need her on the bench. And we are going to listen to her. She's going to give you a lot of great information on how you can contact her if you want legal representation there in Dallas, or if you would like to know how you can write her name on the ballot. We're going to give you some great information on today. But first, let's tell you a little bit about the show. You're listening to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart. If you would like to contact us, you can contact us by emailing us at law@SheilaStewart.com. law@SheilaStewart.com. And we're thankful for you being with us today. Our business address is 231 South Beamiston Avenue, Clayton, Missouri, 63105, Suite 800. Thank you very much. And as you know, the United States, they're having a lot of appointments to the bench. Federal judicial appointments. The former President Trump, he literally appointed more federal judges than President Obama did. He appointed a lot of federal judges, unprecedented. And many of these judges, not all of them, but many of the judges hold a political viewpoint, and some cases may not be advantageous to individuals that need judicial assistance, judicial advocacy. And one of the things we want to do, we want to create fairness, okay? We want to create fairness in Missouri, California, New York. And today we're going to be talking about how we can create that level of fairness in Texas. More importantly, Dallas, Texas. So let's talk about this beautiful young lady that's here with us and the role that she is going to play in helping your views and being an advocate for you, okay? Because she will be a great advocate for you. Michelle McKinney is board certified by Texas Board of Legal Specialization and Family Law. Less than 1% of the state, and we're speaking in terms of Texas, lawyers hold this coveted certification, which is a mark of excellence and exemplifies the fact that Michelle has extensive experience, handling complex family law issues. She was admitted to the state bar in 2011. She received her Juris Doctorate from the University of Arkansas of Law in Fayetteville, Arkansas. While at the U of A, she completed an internship with the Federal Public Defender's Office and worked as a summer law clerk for the Honorable George Stallings of the United States District Court, Northern District of Texas. Prior to attending law school, Ms. McKinney received her Bachelor of Arts in Social Work in 2008 from Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. At Rutgers, she founded a volunteer program for students interested in environmental science and volunteered as a site coordinator for the VITA program, which is sponsored for low-income individuals. She earned numerous awards and won several academic accommodations for the work that she did. Now she's doing something even more transformational. She is running for judge. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, and thank you for being with us on today. Tell the audience about what you're planning to do, and just give us an overview of who you are. I read your resume to them, but you as an individual, let's hear from you.
Well, first, thank you for inviting me on the show, Attorney Sheila. I appreciate that. But yes, I'm Michelle McKinney. I'm a practicing attorney here in Dallas, Texas. I deal with primarily family law issues, and that covers divorce, child custody, child support, adoption, and some other issues regarding the family, such as when CPS gets involved in your life. So I've been practicing 11 years. I'm originally from New Jersey. As you stated, I am board certified, and that means that I've been vetted by the state of Texas, and have shown that I can handle very complex legal issues. And currently I'm running for family court judge in Dallas County. It's the 301st District Court of Dallas County. And I'll tell you more about that soon. But in general, to answer your question, I've been a person of the people. I've always had a heart to serve. Since I got to Dallas, the first stop that I made was that I started to volunteer as a volunteer attorney program of the Dallas Volunteer Attorney Program. And that is a program for people who cannot afford legal representation in their civil matters. There's attorneys who are in private practice that will take those cases and represent those individuals free of cost.
Okay, great, great. Tell us about the family court that you're seeking to be on, and why you think it's so important that someone like you is elected to sit on that court.
Well, I describe myself as an attorney and a candidate of the people. I think that there's a lot of old ideas that are still taking place are affecting the decisions that take place in our courts. Back in the 50s, it was very clear what the family dynamic looked like. It was a stay-at-home mom, and the father of the home was a breadwinner, and that's not always the case anymore. We have grandparents that are raising children. Sometimes the father is the stay-at-home individual raising children, and I just believe that, number one, both parents should be a part of a child's life if they're healthy. And I think that the court has to do whatever they can to try to preserve the family.
Very good, very good. And one of the things that's I think is pivotal across the United States, you can find these issues not only in Dallas or St. Louis or Chicago, but you can find these types of issues many places, is that the state of the family is in trouble. The state of the family, you see many single parents today, single women raising boys, and the boys end up in the criminal system, and they end up going to jail, juveniles, and different things like that. Why do you think having this type of a court is important, and how do you position yourself as being this particular advocate for the people?
Well, first of all, I think in the state of Texas, the foster care system is broken. I mean, I think that's just a fact. One of the hats that I've worn as an attorney is that I've been an attorney ad litem, which is an attorney who represents the children when they are removed from their home because there's some kind of allegation of abuse and neglect. And the question becomes, sometimes those children are placed in foster care rather than back with their family or another relative, such as an aunt, cousin, grandmother. And I think it's very important because there have been many times where I've had to fight tooth and nail in the courtroom to try to get a child out of foster care and into the home of their family. And that again stems from some of the old ideas and judgments that are made about people. For instance, if you have a grandmother, sometimes a grandmother can have a one-bedroom apartment. her child is grown. She's already done her time. And that adult child gets it involved with CPS. And now grandma wants her child. And then somebody from the Department of Child Protective Services will look at that grandmother with one bedroom and not want to give her her grandbaby because she's saying there's not enough space. And that's some kind of advocacy I've had to do. Another thing is that, parents involved in a CPS case, they may have been involved at the beginning of the case in active addiction. They could be using drugs every day. And the way things are set up is you basically have to go from active addiction to perfection within 1 year. And oftentimes that's very difficult. So one of the things that I'm interested in doing is reviving the court, which is a specialty court that deals with substance abuse. Instead of being in that track where you have 1 year to go from active addiction to having a full-time job with a lease in your name, etc. Now you can slow things down a little bit. I want to make those connections in the community to recruit mentors to help the people that find themselves in that court. I want to be able to advocate and get contributions from the community to offer them bus passes so they can actually make it to their outpatient therapy and some of the other services they're being asked to access in order to change their lives.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And I think foster care systems are traditionally broken systems in the United States. And there are systems that are in place that are almost forgotten about. And I think what you just said, your passion to help repair this and being sensitive to the needs of families, that's fundamental. What's the normal age? What's the age when kids age out of foster care in Dallas?
The age of 18. Some children can opt to voluntarily stay within the foster care system until they are 21 years old. There are times, especially we encounter children that are about 17, and sometimes they can voluntarily stay in because there's some benefits that they can get that they normally would not have access to if CPS wasn't involved in their life at the time.
That's very good, very good. How many opponents are running against you?
There are 2 opponents in this race, so I'm involved in a very interesting race. This is not a traditional race. My name is not on the ballot, and no other candidate's name is on the ballot. What we had in this situation is that the incumbent was disqualified at the primaries, and so there is no name on the ballot. There is no Democrat. There's no Republican. So there are 3 of us running essentially as independent candidates. And whoever has the most votes on election day will be the next judge of the 301st District Court.
That is interesting. Would you like to share why the incumbent was disqualified?
Well, to my understanding, the signatures were invalid in Dallas County specifically. When you run to be a district judge, not only do you have to pay a filing fee, but because of the size of the county of Dallas, you also have to have at least 250 signatures from voters within the community of Dallas County. And the sitting judge failed to engage the community from my perspective, and as a result did not have adequate signatures in order to qualify to remain on the ballot.
Wow. So what does it take for, what type of information do individuals need to understand how to write in names on the ballot? Is there a list of names for that seat, or how would they know when they get to the polls?
Thank you for that question. So first of all, the Secretary of State has mandated that the list of write-in candidates be listed somewhere within the voting poll. It could be on a wall somewhere far off, or it could actually be in the actual voting booth. So there are 3 of us, and the way it works is when you are making your selections, if you go in person, you'll be using an automated system. And when you get down to the 301st court, what you're going to see is a button that says write-in, and you'll have to click that button and a keyboard comes up, and that's the moment that you would type in the name of the candidate that you want to vote for. And I'm of course asking you to vote for Michelle McKinney, and then you have to make sure you press enter, and then when the ballot is printed out, you'll check and make sure that the name of the candidate Michelle McKinney is on your ballot. The other thing that's important is you are allowed to ask for help. You also, if there's something like I'm giving away bracelets to everybody I see, it says right in Michelle McKinney on it. You're allowed to wear this into the voting booth. You're allowed to have a business card or anything as a reminder to remember the name of the candidate.
What's the percentage of votes that you need in order to win? In other words, how many people need to write your name in order for you to win, you think?
Yeah, and what you're talking about now is a win number, and this is something that I've struggled with. What I can tell you is that I've looked at the races historically, and generally, the person who has won in family court has about 450 to 474,000 votes. A write-in candidacy is going to be very different. The last time that a write-in candidate went for office, I believe it was 2018, and she had about a little over 4,900 votes. So my personal win number is 10,000. I'm looking for 10,000 votes in order to be successful in this race, but there's just no way to know.
So you're looking for 10,000?
That's my goal.
Okay. For those that haven't made their minds up, or for those that they're not even aware that they have to write in a candidate, what advice or what information would you share with those individuals to encourage them to write your name in that haven't made their mind up between the other two candidates?
Well, I think that they should do their research. I mean, people can go, at least they can go to my website. They can go to my social media, which is Michelle McKinney for Judge on Facebook. And I'm out in the community. I'm giving out the information. There are many times when I'm talking to voters where I don't always ask for their vote. I just ask them to take a look at my race. I think this is a very important race because it's untraditional. It's an unconventional way to elect someone. But I think that what makes me stand out is that I'm out here. I'm out in the community from now until election day. I probably have about 27 more engagements to go to because it's me pushing out the vote. I'm out here block walking. I'm out here making phone calls. I'm out here meeting anybody I can meet. And I think that I'm showing that I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the work of the people. I don't know how you can represent the people of Dallas County if you're not engaging with the people. There's this misconception that the bench belongs to the incumbent. That bench does not belong to the incumbent. That bench belongs to the citizens of Dallas County. And if you're going to represent the community, I feel like you've got to spend some time with the community. And there is no other candidate that can honestly say that they have any kind of authentic community engagement to be able to have the mind of the people in their heart when they're making decisions.
Okay, that's interesting. I want to just probe that comment a little deeper. You said that people tend to think that the bench belongs to the incumbent, but in this particular case, that the incumbent has been disqualified. So now there's an open opportunity. I think individuals may need to really look and do the research so that they can identify, the best candidate. And you're saying that it belongs to the people. What are some of the concerns? Many people, when they go to vote for judges, they don't know who to vote for or why to vote for. What are some of the concerns that people have that they don't even realize that's impactful in their life, you think?
Well, people don't think that the judges consider them. One of the things is that judges accept campaign contributions, and so there are people who believe that because they're not able to contribute to a campaign, they are not going to be heard. There are concerns from people that the people who are making the decisions, such as judges, don't have the life experience that those people coming before that judge have, and so they don't have any confidence in the ability of the judge to look at the big picture and make the right decision. Ever since I was a little girl, politicians have come to church once every 4 years, stop by, wave, and then you don't see them again for 4 years. And there's no real engagement or there's no real immersion with the community. And I think having that connection with the community, coming even when it's not election season, but just coming by to have lunch with an organization or etc., just to bring water to a nonprofit organization when it's not election time, just to say you care, that you remember. I think that goes a long way, and you don't see much of that from some of the judges.
Excellent, excellent. Can you share with us some of your past and current community involvement?
Yes. So as I stated already, Dallas Volunteer Attorney Program. As soon as I touched the state of Texas, I got connected with the Dallas Volunteer Attorney Program. I also worked for Legal Aid of New Jersey in undergrad. I've worked for Legal Aid of Northwest Texas here in Dallas. They have a hotline for individuals who are being denied custody of their children, visitation. And so through the legal aid hotline, we as attorneys are able to give free advice to people as to how they can bring that issue to court and get some kind of resolution and get their children back into their lives on a visitation schedule. Also, I have volunteered as a volunteer attorney for the Fathers for Equal Rights. I've actually been endorsed by them this week, so that's great. And that again is fathers. I mean, to me, one of the issues is that, to me, my experience is that this whole thing about deadbeat dad is a myth. There are several fathers out here who want to be in their children's lives, and it's just the red tape that they have to go through. They oftentimes they give up. They can't be the father they want to be because of that broken relationship with the child's mother, and that doesn't always get situated even in the family court. And so I've done some good work with that organization. I've also volunteered as a life skills instructor for Tori. That is the Potter's House of Dallas's prison reentry program. And so I was going once a week and teaching those people coming back into the community about just balancing a checkbook, making a resume, just how to rebuild credit was a big issue, how to dress for court. So just some practical skills and information to help people not just survive, but to excel.
Excellent, excellent. What values do you think are important for this position as a judge? What values do you think are important?
Well, I think that you have to be open-minded. I think you have to be able to think out of the box. I think that it's all about family, keeping families together when possible. I mean, there's this whole idea that, with a child protective services case, they're giving this foster parent hundreds of dollars to take care of this child. And the question becomes, how could, if somehow that family who is struggling in the first place could have that benefit, could they possibly offer a better scenario for their child in the home? But I think it's about believing that both parents, I believe that one of the things I value is that both parents should be a part of their children's lives. I know that I take it very seriously that whatever the court order allows, I expect that visitation or the child support, if that's the whatever obligations are in the court order, I'm expecting that people follow it. And sometimes I think taking that extra moment in the courtroom when child support is being ordered, when visitation is being ordered, to explain why it's so important can help to promote parents' cooperation in actually following the orders.
Very good, very good, very good. What are some of the more severe cases, severe issues that you're seeing as a family law attorney that you think a judge need to be mindful of?
Well, on the topic of divorce, remember, nobody has come to me because they've had a good day. Maybe here and there, one of these adoptions are joyous occasions, but in general, people come to me because they're in trouble. They're in crisis. And I always say they've had a bad day, you know. And what I mean by that is divorce is, remember the beginning, the white dress, the crowd of people, the bouquet gets thrown, and there's this vow that we're going to be together forever. But the reality is a divorce means that that commitment is, that agreement has now ended. And what is severe is now somebody's financial security is on the line. And so one of the issues is, what about two people who met in college, and wife has a degree just like her husband does, but she decides to stay home with the children and doesn't pursue that degree. And then fast forward 20 years, husband decides he wants somebody younger and more interesting, and wife is displaced, right? And, you know, being in there and being in the courtroom and understanding the big picture, and being able to follow the law, but also award the kind of support that helps somebody get to the next level. I think there needs to be a real acknowledgement that you can't just divorce and the person is automatically expected to be able to move out, get an apartment, and go on. You know, there needs to be some time and concessions there for the person to be able to start a new chapter.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think you are the best candidate versus the other two people that's running?
Okay. And well, I wanted to just go back and say the other thing that's severe is this whole issue of child support and incarceration. You know, many times a parent who is what we call a non-custodial parent, that means that the person who doesn't have the child most of the time generally comes with a child support obligation. And one of the consequences in the state of Texas for not being able to pay that child support in a timely manner can be incarceration. And so that's definitely something that has a severe consequence and is an issue, because there's an argument out there that says even the minimal child support some people can't live up to based on incarceration, based on prejudices and discrimination that they experience coming back into the workforce, you know, after incarceration or something like that. So that's something as well to keep in mind. But to answer your question, can you repeat the question? You're asking me why me over the other two candidates?
Okay, are you're almost getting ready to go out on your live.
Okay, and I'm not moving, so I'm not quite sure what it is.
Okay. Are you okay?
I am, yeah. I see that, so I don't know.
Okay, I asked, why do you think candidates, why do you think you are should be the favorite candidate over the other two candidates that are running for the bench? Why do you think you should be the one that individuals write in?
Because I just feel like I'm an interesting individual. I not only have the intellect and the knowledge and the experience to do the job, but I also have the heart to do the job. I'm not in this just out of some career aspiration, the next promotion in my life. People who have the credentials I have, such as being board certified, are usually working for a firm billing people $500 and $600 an hour. I've chosen not to do that because I want to use my time and talent to help those who can't afford to do it on their own. That's what I've dedicated myself. I say, if I'm gifted, who better to benefit from my gifts than the person who can't afford it? Right. And so that's what makes a difference. And so not only am I this scholarly person who can look at the case law and apply the application and help the CEO divide his assets, but I also am able to look at the heart work, where the heart is involved, because this is not just about numbers. Obviously, as a judge, you have to follow the law, but there's some real work to be done with people that come before you. And I think that you have to have that compassion and empathy for people. And it's definitely an opportunity to educate people when they're in front of you in crisis. And I think I'm that candidate for that.
Do you feel you're the most qualified?
I think I'm the most qualified. There is an opponent out here who's been a judge for several years, but several years doing what exactly is the question. I don't think the end of the inquiry is that the person has been a judge for several years. How are you using your time and talents to elevate the people? How do you use your ideas? How are you coming out of the box to fill in the gaps for the people that come before you? Again, I've said that people come to family court in crisis. We're the end of the road. The judge on many levels is that last line of defense for somebody in crisis. When somebody comes to family court, they've been sitting on that issue many times for months, if not years, before they even put the money together to come to the court and do something about it. And they deserve to be met by someone who cares, by someone who has an open mind, and someone who's going to listen and take action.
Very good, very good.
And
well,
so,
I would say that you are probably, or you are the most qualified, because that board certification is very impressive. And you really worked hard and have seen a lot of complex issues in order to achieve such a certification, especially at such a young age. And I think that you would be such a blessing to those people in that district if you were on that bench. I think you would have the sensitivity, the concern, genuine compassion for their needs, and you understand the different complex situations that's going to come in front of you, from a young man that's not earning enough money, that's facing jail time, or a foster care issue. You would have the sensitivity and the concern. So I would advocate that you are the best. How's that?
Well, thank you. And I just think that I come with a unique lens for a family law attorney, because I started doing divorces for $99 when I started practicing law. People made fun of me. They said I was bringing down the legal system by offering services for $99. But, it gave me a lot of experience. I got to help a lot of people. I had more than 100 clients my first year practicing law, and I've really never had less than that in all the years that I've practiced. And the point is, all of that is experience, hands-on experience, not just reading a book to try to understand how things impact or how they add up. I've had hundreds and hundreds of family law cases that I have handled personally. I've been first chair, the lead counsel since day one. And so I'm bringing that experience to the bench.
Wonderful, wonderful. How can, our time is almost up. How can people get in contact with you if they want to learn more about you?
Okay.
Give us your information on how they can get involved with you.
Yes, so I still answer my cell phone. It's 972-302-2333. Obviously, I work full time. I am a practicing attorney right now. I am not yet a judge, so I am still working as an attorney, but I return every phone call within 24 hours. My email address is michellemmckinney4judge.com. So it's info@michellemmckinney4judge.com. And just general information about me you can find on my website, which is michellemmckinney4judge.com. And then I'm posting just about every single day with the activities that I'm doing for this campaign on my Facebook, which is Michelle McKinney or Michelle McKinney for Judge.
Excellent. And again, for those that tuned in late or ones that heard it at the beginning, tell us again how they can write your name on the ballot.
Yes, so if you're going to be in person, the way to write in Michelle McKinney for Judge of the 301st Court, first of all, there are other races that have write-in candidates. So it's when you get down, and I'm pretty close to the bottom of the ballot is my race. It's the 301st Court of Dallas County. When you get to the 301st Court, there's just going to be a button that says write-in. You have to click the button that says write-in, and then a keyboard comes up, and you'll be free to type my name, Michelle McKinney. You need to type my full name in there and press enter. If you are going to do a mail-in ballot, it's very straightforward. When you get down to the 301st Court, there's just going to be a blank line with the word write in on it. And I'm asking you to write my name with ink pen, Michelle McKinney.
Okay. If people need rides to the polls, are you providing that, or is there an organization that's maybe partnering with you that can provide transportation on that day?
I do have volunteers who are able to provide transportation on that day. It's my understanding that there are several churches. I was actually talking with somebody to try to identify specifically that which churches they are this year that are going to offer that service. But certainly, if somebody wants to get to the polls, while I can't influence their decisions, I can definitely at least give them a phone number for them to get the right information.
Okay, do you have that number available today?
They could call 972-302-2333.
Okay, and again, can you say it one more time?
Yeah, okay, so that number is 972-302-2333. And just because I kind of jumbled the email address before, let me give it again. It is info@michellemckinney.com. The last thing I want to say about this is because a number of people have asked me, what happens if the name is misspelled at the ballot? So first of all, it's Michelle with 2 L's, and McKinney is McKinney like the city. For those of you that are here locally, you'll know what that means. But what I have been told by the Secretary of State is if there is a misspelling with the name, they put those votes to the side, and then there is a committee that will look at those ballots, and if they can tell the voters' intent, then those votes will count. So even if you get nervous or you forget on that day, try the best you can to get close to writing Michelle McKinney. It'll matter in the end.
Okay, well, great. Great, you've done a wonderful job. Do not leave. Done a wonderful job. Is there any last things you want to say? Because we want the people to call, get rides, get transportation, and we want them to vote for you. Anything else you want to share about yourself, your platform, and voting on this day?
Okay, so one of the things I want to share is that I think that I bring something fresh to the bench. Like I say, by dealing hands-on with the people, like, there is no middle person. My clients have always been able to talk to me. And so I'm coming to the bench with that practical hands-on experience. I've been in the community from Main Street right up to handling clients on what would be considered Wall Street. I have that experience and that understanding. I want people to know that to be very cautious out here, because people are holding themselves out as some kind of marketing scheme, as if they're the only Democrat out here, etc. There is no partisanship to this race. That comes straight from the Texas Secretary of State. Because this election is taking place after the primary, there is no Democrat nominee and there is no Republican nominee. So I'm going to ask you to be very careful when people are handing out these slates with individuals on there that are not the nominee of the Democrat Party. Do not fall for that. That is a marketing scheme. Do your research. And look for the candidates independently. You can go to the Texas Secretary of State website and find that we are all independent candidates. There is no nominee, and I'm asking you to vote for Michelle McKinney.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you have been tuned in to Legal Views with Attorney Sheila R. Stewart. We want you to follow Attorney Michelle McKinney in Dallas, Texas, for her judicial bid. We wish her well. Thank you for being with us. As you can see, we have been scrolling her name, her information at the bottom of the page. Attorney Michelle McKinney, candidate for judicial candidate, 301st District Court, Dallas County. We have been scrolling it throughout the broadcast, and we want you to get to the polls, call a friend, tell your friends about Attorney McKinney. Let them know she's the one for the job. She is prepared on day one to take that bench and do a phenomenal job, looking out for the best needs of you and your family. God bless you, and we thank you for tuning in to Legal Views with Attorney Sheila R. Stewart. And before we leave, this will be our last show for the month of September. We want individuals to know that those that are in crisis, if you're facing some difficult times and you're thinking about committing suicide or you're a victim of domestic violence, we want you to know that you're not alone. Please call the National Suicide Hotline for assistance. And if you are a victim of domestic abuse, October is National Domestic Abuse Month, and September is the National Suicide Prevention Month. So we've been scrolling this throughout all of our shows. We want you to be healthy, well, and safe. If you feel the need to speak with somebody, please make a call and save your life. Do not take your life. God bless you, and thank you for tuning in to our show on this evening. Have a great evening.
Thank you for joining us on Legal Views with Attorney Sheila R. Stewart. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.